Do you want to take your editing from this to this? Well, here's how. Number 1, have a mood board. If you don't know where you're going, how are you supposed to get there? I know that it sounds easy and obvious to have a mood board or a style goal, but have you ever just worn something girly one day and then worn something punky the next? I have totally done that, and I'm not saying that you should stick to one style to have a fulfilling life, but in order to be a success and just like those great brands out there, you need to have a consistent style guide because guidelines actually aid creativity with direction. If you need help finding your own style, make sure you go watch my video all about how to find your own unique photo editing style. Number 2, shoot and edit in RAW. So everybody talks about shooting it right on camera, but don't forget to shoot it in RAW format. This basically means that you can capture as many colors and as much information as possible. And by editing RAW, you can manipulate it more while destroying less compared to a JPEG.
So your camera doesn't need 2 SD card slots to shoot in RAW, but if you do have 2 card slots, then this is perfect because one can be used for overflow, backup, or duplicate, or use the first SD card for RAW and one for JPEGs. But all you really need to worry about is the image quality. Make sure at least one of the SD cards is writing in RAW format.
Back to shooting though, you really need to pay attention to your background and lighting just because those 2 elements really play a major role in your composition and effect.
Because my style is a lot brighter, I do try to shoot in front of things that are naturally lighter or colorful, just because you can't really edit out a brick wall or dark bushes and make that have a lighter feeling later.
Number 3, limit your color palette. So right now I'm really into warm tones, pinks and yellows, and whites and blues and greens. So that's what I look for when shooting. But I don't look for purple, maroon, neon, whatever. If you're wanting a consistent feed with consistent colors, well, go ahead and like this video. And also download my guide down below to find your brand colors in the description. Number 4, check your color profile settings between programs. So if you're using Lightroom and Photoshop for your images, make sure you check this before you even start editing. Number 5, check your hues. If you've ever looked at 2 images of yourself but couldn't pinpoint the difference, it may be because of your skin tone hues. So luckily, because you're using raw images, you can precisely edit the white balance and hues easily on Lightroom. Another thing that you might not notice is actually the different colors of grasses. So depending on the time of year or where you are, grass can be yellow, green, mint, any other shade. So this is something I've been working on, especially with wedding photography, just because there's a lot of florals. You need to make sure you're looking at your greens as you edit. Number 6, use reference view. So before I learned this Lightroom hack, I would just take my phone and look at the inspo as I looked and worked on my computer, and that obviously didn't really work because they're 2 different screens and because maybe the screens weren't color calibrated right, but this little hack helped me a lot.
Whenever I'm editing a wedding, I want to make sure that the whole day stays pretty consistent. So what I do is I take a picture of different inspiration I have from Instagram, Pinterest, and drag it into Lightroom and take it into the reference view. It's on the left side. So what I do is I take that picture and drag it over, and the whole time I'm looking back and forth and making sure that my image really reflects my inspo.
Speaking of color calibration, this one is more for professional photographers, but in order to keep your monitors displaying the same colors across the spectrum, you need to use a Mac or a Windows in the calibration tool, or even purchase one of your own. Basically, it's a tool that they put on your monitor to read your color output and then match that with another monitor. Number 8, create your own preset. So I'm not the biggest fan of buying a preset just because they're really not as one click as they seem. Some are closer than others, but I know as beginners they are helpful.
If you have found your own style, you can go ahead and make your own preset here on Lightroom desktop or mobile. Just make sure you don't copy everything over. I tend to leave out the filters, transformation, or the crop just because I don't want to copy that each photo.
Number 9, tweak and synchronize. With or without a preset, you're gonna have to tweak something, trust me. And if you're like me, you're gonna get trigger happy and you're gonna have multiples of one shot. By tweaking one and simply hitting the beloved synchronize settings, you can really speed up your workflow. You can also avoid synchronizing certain things like brushes or stamps by checking them off the list. Don't forget to do this because you might have somebody's random teeth whitening on someone else's nose in the next picture. Number 10, this one is for those of us who think Instagram is an art form. So I haven't actually used this tip in a while just because of the just be authentic and carefree trend, which I'm all for, but as a graphic designer, I'm actually really obsessed with seeing my layout.
What I like about the Feed Preview app is that you can upload your photo onto your Instagram grid without actually posting it to your Instagram grid. You can play around and move photos around to see what image is going to work best next, and you can schedule accordingly. This really helps keep everything and your grid consistent.
And as you know, consistency is key to building your brand to attract more followers, clients, and customers. But I just wanted to remind you that although social media makes us smile a little and our brand stronger in marketing especially, true joy comes from somewhere deeper. If you like this video, make sure you go ahead and like it and subscribe to my channel for more photo and editing tips.